Well, you may have seen my Timex Expedition Scout on the channel before, but today we welcome in a brand new Timex, my first in a while. Oh, nice presentation. Look at that beauty. So this thing came up, well, we got to figure out how to get it out of here now. Yeah, just anything in there? No. Oh, there's got to be some kind of instruction manual. There we go. Okay. Gonna need that with this one, I bet, right? So this thing came up as new when I bought it, and then just not even a couple weeks later, it was no longer listed as a new release, and there were some other variations that they brought in. Well, that's ticking, so the little crown guard didn't do anything. So look at this, the Timex Expedition North Tide-Temp-Compass. Now, this technology has been around for probably 10 years or so, and then this new line of watches came out, I think, about a year ago or something like that. So not brand new, but they apparently kind of keep rolling out different variations. So this one just kind of attracted me. I like that tuning fork markers for the indices. It just that, you know, the tannish color on the dial, and I just thought it had a great look, so it really caught my eye. So this is a grown-up Timex. It's got a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. Look at that. Yeah, when do you see that? That's awesome, huh? 100 meters of water resistance. It's a push-pull crown, but also has the push-pull for the reason of the Indiglo, and I'll show you that in a while. Also has some luminescence on the markers and the handset, too, so I'll give you that lume shot in just a bit. This is 316L stainless steel that has been IP-coated, ion-plated in black, and the bezel is stainless steel as well with that same IP coating. It appears to be bead blasted, and there's a bit of brushing as well, so pretty nice. Nice finish for black IP. And it's got this green leather strap. It's got a nice, I don't know if you can hear it, it's got a little squeak to it, but it says eco-friendly. I don't know if it's just, I don't know what that means really. Is it produced the way it's produced, or I have no idea, but it feels like you can get it wet. Like, it doesn't feel like any other leather. And I think I remember reading something about that basically, you know, it's fine to get it wet. But I mean, I don't know. It seems a little more dense or something. But yeah, Timex on the backside, and we see genuine leather on that side, and quick release, you notice too, which is pretty nice. And we can see the case back while we're here. Movement Philippines. Strap was made in China. So. All right, designed and engineered by Timex Tide-Temp-Compass, which is the name of this Expedition North model, and we'll go into that bit. You see you've got your reference number there, and then 22 millimeter lug. They just tell you on the case back. It's kind of nice. Sapphire crystal and water resistant 100 meters. Let's see what's under here. Ew, it's gooey. It looks like it just says stainless steel. Gotta clean that up now. All right, that's a little better. And don't let these teeth fool you. This is not a screw-on caseback. It is a snap-on-off caseback. You can tell by that lip right there. Okay, so the main feature of this watch is the tide, temperature, and compass. So you see that there are multiple handsets on here. It was actually 4, but so you've got your hour hand, your minute hand, and your seconds hand you see there. This hand here is the multifunction hand. I don't know why it is double-sided, though. From what I can tell, everything appears to happen from this orange end. But what you can see here is high tide and low tide. So right now it would be low tide heading towards high tide because it moves clockwise. And then you can see here on the Riot, you've got a temperature scale. The bottom row is Celsius and the top row is Fahrenheit. And then, of course, in compass mode, it will move this selection to magnetic north. And you can use this rotating bidirectional friction bezel for your heading or to identify north. So let me show you those features real quick. So this orange reddish button here will be your temperature. So the orange will now point to the air temperature. and it's showing about 79 degrees. I don't think it's that hot in here. But, it says that if you're handling the watch or you're wearing it, that can skew the temperature. So maybe that's part of it. And then if you wanted to check the water temperature, you would just press that button and leave it in this mode before you go underwater, and then it will constantly give you the water reading. So you can keep it in that mode, or you can keep it in the tide mode, which is the yellow button here. So either way, it'll drain your battery. But yellow mode is tide, and it'll go to low first. So that's how we know we're using the orange hand, because it does say that it goes to the low setting, low tide, and then goes to the current tide setting. So again, we're back to that. And then for the compass, see if I can hold this flat. So north, see the orange tip? So it'll keep rotating. So it's a digital compass with a analog display. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping it level and keeping it to where you can see it on camera. But then it goes back to either mode that you had it on before after, I guess, maybe 20 seconds or so. And something kind of cool for the compass, too, it's even got a declination scale. So you can go into the compass mode and manually set that using the pushers here. I don't know how to do it quickly, so I won't show you here. But you can go in and set your area to your declination angle, or you can use the scale up here by the north heading. So if I were to put it into north, and then I'm in the Washington, D.C. area of Maryland, so I know that to be 11 degrees west. So you would just alter your heading by that much. So that's pretty cool. You can get as granular as you want with that, right? This is listed as 43 millimeters, and I've got 43.3. Kind of hard to measure with those pushers, though, so I think that's pretty accurate. Lug to lug of 50.8. 22 millimeter lug width. We know that from the case back earlier. And it's going to be pretty thick, 13.1 millimeters. And it weighs 89 grams on the supplied leather strap. Okay, there's the loom. Not bad. Look at that handset. The handset's really bright. I like that sectional, how it's segmented too. The hour hand and the minute hand. They have kind of a section towards the pinion and then a section towards the riot. That's pretty neat. Starting to fade a little here, but no worries, because you buy Timex for this. Woo! Okay, so I was going to say that would be cool if that multifunction hand was loomed, but I thought, well, you can't really see the markings of what you'd be reading anyway, the tide or the temperature, but maybe you can with this, right? That's pretty neat. So it looks like you could tell the tide, but you're not going to get a temperature reading because you can't see that riot. But you could still use the high tide and low tide. That's pretty cool. All right, let's show it off on my wrist. But first, today I am wearing the Swiss watch company Arc GMT. This has got a GMT window instead of a fourth hand to tell your second time zone. Pretty cool, huh? Check out the video for this here. Got a full unboxing on it. And there it is, 8-inch wrist, 43 millimeter case. That looks nice. And Timex does a nice job on their website. They tell you that the watch, what the wrist size is that it'll fit. So for this particular model, they say that it'll fit wrist from 5.9 to 8.1 inches. So, and I've got an 8-inch wrist, and it's actually, I've got 2 more holes there. So this would actually fit wrist larger than 8 inches. So not sure about smaller than 5.9 though, because I don't have an example. But yeah, and I like this leather strap too. It feels pretty beefy, and it's kind of stiff and rigid right now, but I think it's going to break in nicely. I've always liked Timex leather straps, to tell you the truth. I think that they break in great, and they've got a nice worn feel to them once you get them to that spot. Yeah, and this is coming in a lot more green on camera. It does have a tinge of green to it, but I feel like it's more tan in person. So I think just my bright lights are kind of skewing the color a little. Well, that's pretty slick. I mean, I don't have a huge need to know the tides, but I did used to boat here in the Chesapeake Bay area, so I think that's what I'm going to set this one to, is the tide table for the Chesapeake Bay. That's a cool feature to have on a watch, definitely, if you're a boater or you like to go surfing, etc. Anything beach related, beach combing. That's just kind of cool. And then I think I would use that temperature setting a lot more frequently than the high tide and low tide. And always nice to have a digital compass on your wrist. This is great. This is a true description of the watch's namesake, Expedition North, right? I just think it's cool to have a grown-up Timex 316L stainless steel case with IP black, sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. This is Timex all grown up. I love it. So these go for $249. You can get them directly from the Timex website. I'll leave a link down below in the description section if you'd like to pick one up. And like I mentioned, they're coming out with a wide variety of variations of this same movement. So if you're not really fond of this black and or this dial, etc., take a look at some of the others. Okay, it's the next day after the unboxing, and bad news on this movement. So this multifunction hand is being very erratic and sluggish and not staying in calibration. So when I push this bottom pusher, the orange section should line up to the low tide and then show current tide. You see it did not line up to low tide. Now, however, there is a calibration mode. I didn't know this in the earlier in the unboxing, but when you pull the crown out, the orange section should line up to the noon spot. Here you see it lined up to 6. So this is how you recalibrate it. But again, even after I do this, it's very sluggish and erratic and not responding correctly. And I've had to calibrate it over and over again. And to give you an idea, you see we just calibrated it, and now if I go to the temperature setting, it should go to minus 20 degrees. It did not, and then show the current temperature. Now if I go back to tide, it should go to low tide setting, the orange section of that multifunction hand, and you see it did not. Stop there. So it's just doing this over and over again. Not good. And then on the date, check it out here. So it's the 2 a.m., let's just assume, right? And I'm going to go all the way through 24 hours, and you'll see that date does not change from the 7th. So again, there's something wrong with this movement altogether, not just the multifunction hand. There you go, just past midnight. Yeah, so this one's going back to Timex. I'll leave a update in the description section when I get that replacement watch in to let you know how it fares. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. That way you can kind of follow along after I get that replacement in. Down the road, I'll do a review on it as well. So let me know your comments too. You know, aside from the issues with the multifunction hand, what do you think of this Timex Expedition North? And I'll catch you in the next video. I'm Whit with so many watches, so little time and money.